Should you work on yourself first or should you go straight into dating? Now, as a dating coach, I am in my DMs constantly, whether it's Instagram or TikTok. And when I ask guys that are following me, liking my stuff, hey man, how's it going? What are you doing for dating right now? The most common thing they tell me as a fix or a remedy to their dating lives, aka their non-existent dating lives, they tell me they're working on themselves. To which I say, well, what does this really mean? And they tell me, yeah, bro, I'm hitting the gym, I'm getting my money up, I'm reading, some books here and there. To which I say, fantastic, but do you really need to pause dating to be able to do these things? Now let's rewind things to when I was younger, and I'll tell you how I actually lived my life, because I did for many years what a lot of these guys in my DMs say they are doing, which they think obviously will lead to better dating results. Now, for some context, I got into self-improvement when I was around 15, 16 years old. I was listening to Alan Watts, Eckhart Tolle, Charisma on Command. I basically just consumed this content. I went vegan, I went super spiritual. I was hammering the gym 24/7. I'll include some pictures of me somewhere around here. And I did this because I thought, you know what, let me just nail down self-improvement basics. I'll work on my physique, my mindset, I'll learn as much knowledge as possible, and then I'll be a man ready to face the world. But did it actually benefit me to spend years doing this? Literally from 16 to 20 years old, I basically did as little human interaction as possible. No, it didn't. And it actually made things much, much worse for me. So you have to understand that to become good in dating, you need dating specific skills. And if you are not getting the dating results you want, it does not matter how good your physique is. It does not matter how confident you feel like you are. It does not matter how much knowledge you have around specific random topics. If you can't transfer that confidence, that mindset to dating, aka having a conversation with women you find attractive, I promise you, it's not going to help you and you'll waste your time. And I haven't came onto this video to tell you guys, don't work on yourself, just go straight into dating. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you think that by being ripped, jacked, rich, very knowledgeable, if you think these things actually attract women, then you are gravely mistaken, because they don't. They are like the cherry on top of that ice cream sundae, which she wants to eat and find. It's not the actual ice cream itself. The ice cream itself is your social skills. Time and time again, I am seeing guys in my personal life that aren't in the best shape, don't make that much money, yet they are absolute killers when it comes to picking up women and getting into relationships. Why? Because they are charismatic as F. I'm trying not to hurt the algorithm, so I'm saying F rather than you know what, right? Now, the actual definition of charisma is the ability to influence or persuade without the use of logic. So essentially, what makes somebody extremely interesting and charismatic is their ability to not use logic and persuade somebody, or a woman in this case, into doing something, aka seducer, because persuasion is just seduction. And charisma is just high-level social skills. So if you understand that, rather than doubling down on your fucking protein intake, I've just swore, and your training regime, you need to instead double down on your social skills. That is the missing formula, which is going to get you to where you want to be in dating, not being jacked. Because when I was 18 years old, and I'll put up a picture now, I looked really good. 6'1", very lean, fairly good looking before I started aging, right? Well, I probably look about the same age to you guys. And yet, my social skills, because they were so bad, they had such a big impact on my ability to connect with women. I couldn't approach women. I couldn't hold a conversation past, what's your uni degree? What do you do for fun? Where are you from? Do you have siblings? And these are boring, what we call questions of doom, which will get you absolutely nowhere. You have to understand that dating is not what you think it is. And none of you watching this video, unless you have very charismatic family members or friends, will have been prepared for dating in this day and age. That's why most of the guys that I'm coaching are 35 to 50. Some guys are even older, some guys are younger, right? It's a big spectrum. But I'm coaching so many men who on paper are the ideal man. They have abs, they are over 6 foot, they make millions of dollars or pounds per year through a business or through a salary, but yet they can't keep a relationship, they can't approach women, they don't get matches on dating apps, they don't get dates, and they feel awful about themselves. So how we address this is, first of all, with the communication skills, all the high level communication skills. Now, what I'm gonna do is in my description below, I'm gonna include some free training around basically succeeding with women one-to-one. I will give you a snippet from one of my live coaching sessions, one of my group coaching sessions, where in this coaching session, we discussed the art of objection handling in dating and basically succeeding one-to-one with women. You may be thinking, objection handling, why is that relevant to dating? Well, women, as you may know this, or maybe you don't, they're gonna test you, right? And when they test you, just like a prospect would on a sales call, it is your job to handle the objection. And if you don't handle the objection, her attraction for you and her perception of you goes down, 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 down. So you need to be doing these things if you want to optimize for the highest level of success possible in dating. But if you don't have time to watch a however long video, I'll give you some advice now. What you need to learn to do to become more charismatic and appear to have these high level social skills is you need to use the technique of deflection. Now, when I go more deeper into this, what this really means is if somebody asks you a question, one thing you can do is intentionally misinterpret what they're saying, aka deflect from the real answer, okay? So they may say to you, how's your day going? You could say, good, thanks, how's yours? But we all know that leads nowhere. So instead, what you can do with women when you're trying to seduce them is intentionally misinterpret what they're saying. How's my day going? Why? What's wrong? Did my day look like it's going badly? And you misinterpret her, and she'll be like, no, I'm just wondering how you are. And then you go, I'm just joking. Don't worry, it's fine. I'm just teasing you. And then she laughs. Okay, that's gonna create some tension. That's gonna create some kind of feeling of like, okay, this guy has something about him, some social skills that the average guy doesn't have. This is such a small example, but if you were to implement something as minuscule as this, you start building connection and attraction between you and a woman because you're speaking in a non-male language. You're speaking more in a language she understands, which is making her feel something, aka emotions, okay? And you know, I'm not talking shit, I'm gonna flash up a testimonial somewhere around here of a guy that I've coached with one of his experiences on a first date with what he said, insert Andrew. So yeah, guys, go to the description below, download my free guides, watch that free coaching call, start getting dating results, and stop working on yourself thinking that this will lead to better dating results. Until the next video, guys, see you all later.